Welcome back to another episode of A Well and a Worthy Life. Okay, so we have had so many amazing guests on Well and Worthy Life, but I have missed doing some solo episodes. Actually, the next couple of episodes you listen to are going to be solo episodes. They'll probably even be a little bit shorter. I never know until I record these, and I hope I don't ramble too much. But I have a few things on my mind that I would love to share with you. And the first thing that I want to share is about my own journey as I go through this postmenopause, because I am postmenopausal now. I'm 57 years old. I went through menopause, and if you haven't heard any of my other episodes about menopause, then menopause is technically one day. It is the day that you've gone 12 months without a period. And before that day is perimenopause, and after that day is postmenopause. So I don't actually know the exact day that I went through menopause, because I had an IUD in, and once it was taken out, I didn't have any period again. So I am postmenopausal and have known that for the last at least 3 years. The average age of menopause is 51. So that's the average age, but certainly a lot of people can go through it earlier. Some have to go through it earlier because of surgery. Some can even go through later. So we're all different. That's the biggest thing. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that we are all so different. But as I have been on this postmenopausal journey, I really feel like my weight is fairly consistent. I might be up 2 or 3 pounds or down 2 or 3 pounds, but certainly within a 5-pound range. And but lately I've been really, really trying to focus on building more muscle. We start losing muscle, gosh, really in our 30s. I can't remember the exact percentage that we're losing, but just know if you're in your 30s, you're starting to lose muscle. And if we don't do anything about it, it's just going to get worse. And our muscle helps us to maintain that metabolism so that we can eat food without gaining weight. We already know when we hit that perimenopause, the things that we used to do don't work so much anymore. And so we have to do things a little bit different. And so really thinking about all that, and I've had to change things up along the way, but I have realized in the last really couple of years how important it is for me to build more muscle, because I'm losing it and I want to be strong, and I have a powerful my granddaughter. But more than just that, again, if you've been following along, you know that my father got cancer at 58, died at 59. My mother got cancer at 60 and died at 75. So, I've got a couple of years till I hit 60, and I want to live well, not just live a long time. There was a big difference in my mother once she got cancer at 60. She had been very healthy up until then, and then had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. By the time it was diagnosed, the tumor had eroded into her stomach. She had to have emergency surgery, and they had to take out most of her stomach. And she lived, like I said, 15 more years, but it was certainly a different 15 years for her than it would have been had she, first of all, not had cancer, second of all, caught the cancer early. So anyway, I really am adamant about trying to live my best life, live my well and worthy life. So I want to be strong. I want to have the muscle. I want to be able to do the things. And then if I do get sick, I want to be able to have that muscle to heal quickly and all those things. So like I said, I measure a lot of things. I wear an Aura ring because I know how important sleep is. So I really focus on my sleep. I really focus on trying to get 10,000 steps every single day. I'm really trying to learn how to manage my stress. Stress isn't going away. It is what it is, right? And so I have to manage it. And, we all have stress. Sometimes it's worse than others. But know this, if you are stressed, you're not alone. It's just, how do we deal with the stress? Eating doesn't help, stress eating doesn't help. Being out in nature helps. Taking deep breaths help. Meditation can help. There's lots of different ways to help with that. So I'm very, very active on this health journey. But one of the things, like I said, is that muscle, and strength training has never been something that I have loved doing. I just, I don't know. I don't know why. I just never loved doing it. I love classes. I love going to, again, if you've been following me, I used to own a Pure Barre studio and taught Pure Barre. It's just a bar class. If you aren't familiar with the term Pure Barre, it's just, that's a franchise name. But I love that. I love to go to classes, but I definitely know how important strength training and lifting heavy weights is important to build that strength, to build that muscle so that I have a higher metabolism, so that I'm lean, and so that I can do all the things I want to do. So today I went, and today is July the 6th. You're listening to this a little bit later, but today I went to a wellness screening. And I haven't gotten all the results back, but one main thing he did is I got on this, it's kind of like a scale. It's called InBody Test, is what it is. It's InBody Test. I've got I don't know if you can see it right here. If you're watching this on YouTube, which I am on YouTube, y'all, if you're just listening to this, but it's called an InBody Test. And you get on this, it looks like a scale, but it has some arms to it, and it measures your fat percentage, your muscle percentage, and it can kind of give you some markers that you can see where you are, especially if you want to increase your muscle and become leaner. And that's really my goal. So to be honest with you, I really put this off because I hate getting on the scale. I'm going to share all my results with you, but I just really hate getting on the scale. And especially, like I said, it's July the 6th. I've had my kids here in town, and we have eaten, and I haven't really, I'm never really strict, but I've just been living life, right? And so, man, when I got on that scale, I did not like that number, but it happens to us all. But once I did it and learned where I am, then I have something to work with, right? And so if you keep yourself in the dark and you don't know, then how are you going to change anything? And I'm going to share my results with you, and I'm going to share with you what my plan is. And then I'm going to do a follow-up episode to let you know how my results turned out. Probably in about 3 months. I'm going to give myself a good 12 weeks. But so overall, first of all, we did the InBody test. That measures, like I said, your muscle mass, your fat mass, gives you your BMI, which I don't know that I'm a big believer in BMI. It gives you, it's a body composition analysis. Then it tells you how much visceral fat you have. It also, it's kind of interesting. It segments out it's called a segmental lean analysis. It tells you in your right arm, left arm, trunk, right leg, left leg. Oh yeah, there's a segmental fat analysis, like where do you hold most of your fat, I guess is what it's saying. So anyway, I really got a very good score. My visceral fat level was 4, which is low. However, my body fat mass in pounds was 28.5 pounds. My weight was 127 and a half, which I hated that number. I'm 5'3" on a good day, and I like to be around 120. So it was midday. So, again, it's so hard to tell for sure. If I'd weighed first thing in the morning, maybe, with no clothes. I did have clothes on, didn't have shoes on. And then one of the other things that I looked at was my skeletal muscle mass was 55.1, and my percent body fat was 22.3. Okay, so really overall, that is not bad, especially for a woman my age, 57. But I don't want to be not that bad. I want to be leaner than that because I know I'll feel better. I just know that I will feel better overall in my clothes. And like I said, that will up my metabolism if I have more muscle. So then the other tests, he did my grip strength, which he said was pretty good for somebody my age. Again, just pretty good. So the stronger I become, then the better that should get. My mobility was really good. Passed all the mobility tests. Those were just a pass or fail. Blood pressure was good. My oxygen level was good. All the other markers were really good. Overall, I am in great shape. But like I said, my goal, and everybody, I don't ever want to share this information with you and you start measuring yourself off of me, because I've done that same thing before. I've seen somebody else and start measuring myself off of them, and we can't do that. We just have to go by what our goals are and how we feel. And so, like I said, my goal is to become leaner, and in order to become leaner, I've got to lose some fat and gain some muscle. And I don't want the scale to go up. So I can't eat more to gain that muscle. I have to, and I don't necessarily have to eat less either. There's not this calories in, calories out. It's all very different. But what we do take in really matters. And then my movement really matters. And my sleep, which I'm already focused on my sleep. I drink water. I drink tons of water. So those are main things that I would, if somebody were coming to me and they said, I want to become leaner, the first thing I would ask them is, how are you sleeping? Let's focus there first. Let's get that sleep really good. And my sleep I am focused on that. So my sleep is fairly consistent, fairly good. Not every night, but fairly good. My hydration, really great. I would give me a plus on hydration. And then stress management, I would give myself a B on stress management. So pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. So, what would be my things that I need to work on? How can I work on becoming leaner, losing some fat, and gaining some muscle? Well, first, I have to do strength training, right? And I am currently working with a trainer 2 days a week for 45 minutes. So that's great. Strength training, I'm doing that. I am lifting heavy weights. I'm challenging myself. Well, actually, my personal trainer is challenging me. That's why I like personal training, because I might not push myself as hard as he would. So I'm doing that 2 days a week. And then the other days, I've just been filling in with Pure Barre or yoga or something like that. So I'm going to change that up a bit. And the other thing I have been doing is at least 10,000 steps a day. So after doing this wellness exam and talking to Jeff Ford, he's the Palmetto Bluff fitness director and has a lot of knowledge. They're getting ready to launch a podcast too soon, so stay tuned for that. I'll let y'all know when that's out. But after talking with him and thinking through, like, what is it that I could do to lose the body fat and gain the muscle. So a couple of suggestions. After we talked about it, I said, as far as my eating goes, I feel like I eat pretty good. I'm really focused on protein. And from all of my research, it looks like that first meal and that last meal of the day is the most important meals. So my goal is to get at least 30 grams of protein in that first and last meal. So that's really important to me. And then I usually have a middle meal in the middle. It's a little bit smaller, so 20 grams. Now, that would only be 80 grams total. I probably get a little bit more than that. I want to get a little bit more than that. So, but I'm not going to push myself there. I'm just going to keep that the same. I do a type of, I would call it more circadian rhythm fasting. I don't really love that intermittent fasting term because I think that that is overused and used as diets. So definitely I think 12 hours going without food, and most of the time I'm asleep anyway. Definitely that. I really listen to my body, but some days I'll go 14 hours fasting and then the 10 hours eating window. Trying to cut my eating window down, off by 7, 8 at the latest, because I like to go to bed by 9. And really, I need to quit eating at least 2 hours before I go to bed. I think that's a really important thing. So that's another thing I'll be working on too, is trying to at least make sure that 2 hours before bedtime, I've stopped my eating. Because like I said, I like to go to bed early, and that sleep, that is very important. Okay, so the strength training twice a week, 45 minutes. I'm going to really focus on that protein. But one area, as far as my nourishment, I really feel like I need to really kind of dial in a little bit better is my sugar. I think I've really kind of let it go a little bit and I eat probably too much sugar. And when I say too much, certainly less than I used to, but I think that's an area that I could definitely work on. I've kind of gotten in the habit of after dinner, I want something sweet. And I do think that that is a habit. I have replaced that habit before, drinking tea, getting out of that habit, getting my taste buds changed. So it's not like I've craved that sweet, but I think it's just almost like a habit. So cutting back on my sugar. And then Jeff suggested, and I like this suggestion, and to me, it was very doable. Like I said, my goal is 10,000 steps a day. And he said, maybe one day a week, go for a longer walk, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hour walk once a week. And I'm like, I can do that. In fact, I love going for walks. I've just downloaded a book that I can't wait to listen to. So that's a great time for me to, walk and listen to my book. And even though it is super hot here, and it is super hot, I'm sweating, so I'm detoxifying. So it's all good. Just have to make sure to drink that water, replace my electrolytes, all that kind of stuff. So I like that idea. And the other idea he suggested is once a week doing a HIIT workout. And if you're not familiar with HIIT, it's high intensity training. So it could be a 15-minute workout, but it's high intensity where you're hitting it pretty hard, or it could be intervals or something like that. So those are the really I've said 4 things probably that I'm going to change up. So one, I'm going to try to do that longer walk, hour and a half or 2 hour walk once a week, do a HIIT training once a week, 15 minutes, along with all my other stuff that I'm doing. Then watch my sugar. And then the last one, make sure I cut my eating window off 2 hours beforehand, before bed. So that's probably going to be 7 o'clock for me. So I'm hopeful, and I really believe that I have to be consistent. I don't have to be perfect. I always teach that we do, that we're not going for perfection, that none of us are perfect, and that perfection is not sustainable. And I want something that is sustainable. So progress is sustainable, and not picking too many things to change up, but just enough to kick it in gear and see what happens. So that's my plan. And in 12 weeks, I will have this InBody test done again, and we'll see where I am. My hope is that I have lost some overall weight. To be honest with you, I would like to lose some overall weight, not a lot, maybe, 5 pounds at the most. I'd like to lose some overall weight, but more importantly, I'd like to lose some fat and gain some muscle. So I'm going to keep you posted and love to hear from you what you're going to do. What is it? What is your goal that you need to kick it in gear? Like it's time. Like you've kind of been sitting on the sidelines and you've been thinking, I need to do this. Or, like I said, it was not something that I was looking forward to, getting on that scale and seeing the results. But once you do it, then you have something that you can measure against, and then plan and come up with a plan and just do it. Like, what do you have to lose, right? So I'd love for you to share what you're going to be doing this summer or even this fall. Maybe you're just going to wait till this fall and then really kick it in gear. Talking about this fall before I go, I do have something new coming up, and I'm super excited. We are revamping, and Balanced Wellness Method is going away. It's crazy. I came up with Balanced Wellness Method now almost 3 years ago, and it was great, and I loved it. And then we added some things, but to be honest with you, it got to where it wasn't working for my lifestyle anymore. And I also saw that there was an opportunity to help more women. And so we're coming back with something better than ever this fall. And if you want to find out more about that, I've got a wait list, and I will put the link to the wait list in the show notes so that you will, once we release it, you'll be one of the first people to know when it's coming, when it's launching, but look for it in September. Okay. I'm super excited. And hey, thanks again for joining me. And remember, stay tuned for the next podcast because I have another solo episode that I think will be very beneficial to you, especially if you're getting ready to be an empty nester. See you later, guys.